What is up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Sitting outside of Dallas, Texas right now. Just dropped off a load yesterday at that U.S. cold storage. Actually, a very good place. Got me in and out super fast. Well, that wasn't a good thing because I was looking at trying to get some of that free detention. But it's been a while since I got some detention. But anyway, picking up a load here. It's supposed to be at 2 o'clock, but I'm going to see if I can slide through a little bit early. Pick that load up because the next load I have is running to Loveland, Colorado. So I'm going to try to run out there, get a 34 out of it, and, keep it pushing. Now, I just wanted to, the common sense side of me says not to do it, but I've had so many questions in regards to how much you can expect to make it prime, and I always say that your results are going to vary, but I just wanted to kind of talk about my last month out. And this is not all that uncommon, so when I'm talking about these numbers, it's not like it's an anomaly. I mean, sometimes these settlements are going to be a little bit lower, sometimes they're going to be a little bit higher, but I'm really doing it because one of my friends has a YouTube channel by the name of Trike Rider Trucking, and he has been kind of talking about his settlements and pay and stuff like that, and he seems to be getting a little bit frustrated, so I'm just putting this out to kind of balance it out a little bit, I think. And I just got off the phone with somebody that was thinking about coming to Prime, and he thought that the information would be useful, so I'm just going to kind of run over what my settlement was for last week, since I did bring it up in the previous video, and I will kind of go from there. Now, last week's settlement, let me bring it up right quick. All right, so last week's settlement, I ran 2,746 miles. Total net revenue to the truck was $6,325.94. I got reimbursed about $35 for reefer fuel. And then once you take out deductions for fuel, truck payment, all that kind of stuff, the net was broke down like this. $27.46 went into my tire fund. Now, my tire fund operates a little bit different than if you're just doing the regular lease with Prime, because I have access to that money, whereas if you're doing a regular lease, that money needs to be used for tires or tire related things and stuff like that. But $27.46 went into that. I put $523.86 into my emergency fund. Made 9 cents of interest on that money. That's good. Total that went into my checking account was $2,708.86, and $25 went to my Comdata card. So when you add all that up, let's see. When you add all that up, that comes to $3,200, or $3,285.18. So the way this last month is kind of shaped out, I came off of home time, came out first week, made about $3,700. Start adding this up, okay? So I came out off of home time, and I made $3,700 roughly. I think it was a little bit more than that. $3,700. Then I spent 4 days at Springfield. That week I broke even. I think I might have been in the hole like maybe $100. So let's just subtract out 100 just for shits and giggles. Then this week is the $3,285, and then next week, with the load I'm taking to Denver, is going to put my revenue around $3,300. I think I'm going to net anywhere between $1,200 and $1,500. It just depends on how much of these tolls I'm going to hit, or how many. I haven't got the tolls taken out for last week's stuff yet, so it may hit this next week coming up. So I'm assuming that I'm going to be, let's just say $1,200. So, all right, so that means for the month, and I'm just estimating this next week, that's $8,085 for that month. So when you look at the month, I took 4 days off in Springfield. I'm going to take off roughly 2 days when I get to Denver. So let's just round that up to 7 days. So basically, 3 weeks worth of running for $8,500 or $8,085. So yeah, let me just divide that by 3 just to see what that would look like. So maybe if, and it's hard to kind of predict what could have happened, but that would mean that for my average working week, my net would be around $2,700 for this last month coming out. That is not much higher than what the typical would be. I'd say as a lease operator, what I'm generally looking at is about, you can have a bad week, and I don't really look at things week to week. I think that's one of the problems that people get into when they're, and I'm not by any means saying that Curtis, the Trike Rider Trucking, is doing this, but I think you can train your fleet manager to give you worse loads just because they're worried about you getting a load that's going to hit on a certain payday or something like that. So if I have a week that's like, let's say, under $1,500, usually that's a week where I might have picked up something on a Sunday and it's not delivered until a Wednesday after cutoff or something along those lines. That's a really higher paying load or something like that. So I'm just putting this out. I just want to balance out kind of, I just want to kind of balance out, I guess, the frustration that I've seen a couple people have with what's going on with me. This really isn't that much. I guess what I'm trying to say is this isn't abnormal. I talk to people that do more than this, consistently more than this. Now I don't know if this is just a fleet man. Actually, I've talked to people that have the same fleet manager as I do that aren't doing consistently as well. I talk to people that do worse. I'd say most of the people that I know that I talk to that are leasing are doing about the same as I am, within a few $100s either way. Anyway, I think that's all that I really wanted to do, was just kind of put that out there, just to, I've had a lot of people come to me asking what they can expect as far as leasing goes, and I've really tried to be cautious with what I've told them because I don't want to set them up for failure. But on the other hand, I don't want everybody to just see what the downside is to leasing. So what do I think it comes down to? If you haven't seen my last video, I think a fleet manager matters. I think your clock management is probably the main thing that you can do to increase your money. If there's one thing I can say you have control over, it is that. I'm not a master of my clock yet. I mean, I know what to do, but sometimes I just don't do it, or I forget to do it. Yard move, or personal conveyance. Sometimes I'll get so eager to get out of a shipper that I forget to go on personal conveyance. All that stuff adds up. So at the end of the week, you could only be looking at 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 25 minutes here. You add that up, there's, that you could have shit away, an hour and a half on your clock. Another thing that I really am a firm believer of is communication with your fleet manager. Your fleet manager could send you a load that you may not have time to run. If the load is paying good enough, I'm gonna get. Usually, my fleet manager doesn't answer the phone all that well, so I'm gonna send a message to him and say, "Listen, I really like this load. I don't have the hours to do it. I forget. I don't have the hours to run the load. What are your suggestions? And sometimes it'll just be pick up the load and drive it out, and then we'll get you repowered, or something like that. I really try to give my fleet manager options instead of obstacles when it comes to different things like that. If it's a load I don't want, I just don't want it. And the loads that I don't want typically are going to revolve around where they're at more than how much is paying or things like that. And I just try to keep open lines of communication with my fleet manager, kind of let him know what I like. I let him know you don't need to be worried about trying to fit in some shitty load, just so it hits on a payday cutoff or something like that. I let him know that where I like to run, where I don't like to run, all those different kind of things. I don't know how much that helps. I just know that consistently, since I got out here, I've been doing well. So it hasn't been a week or two. It hasn't been a month or two. It's been since I came out here. And had I not been doing as good as I've been doing, I wouldn't have done the lease purchase. I wouldn't have done any of that stuff. I would have just stayed in the regular lease and completed it and gone that route. But because things have gone so well, that's why I jumped into this lease purchase, because I see people that are struggling, and I know that they're working, and I just don't know why they're not doing well. Is it a fleet manager thing? Is it a person thing? What is it? I just lost my whole damn train of thought, but I don't know. I just hope that I hope everybody has whatever they consider to be success. And I just want to show you that the possibility is there. Sometimes it may come down to luck more than your actual ability. I don't know. I really don't know what the difference is that separates the people that are having issues all the time than the people that are doing better all the time. Now, I can tell you that, well, in comparison to me. Now, I can tell you what the difference is between me and the people that I talk to that are consistently doing better. And a lot of that is that clock management type stuff. Just one last thing before I get off here. Somebody was asking about load choice board and why I'm not on it. I haven't asked to be on it, first of all. I really don't have a need to be on it. I mean, I don't know how much more money the people that are on load choice are making than me. The only reason I would even be flirting with the idea of going on load choice board would be to have more control over where I was going and kind of being able to, I'd say that would be the main reason why I would go or look to be on the load choice board. If things aren't broke, don't rock the boat. If I'm doing well now, why am I going to go out and try to just do something different? On the other hand, sorry to keep rambling, if things aren't going well for you, my thing is shake things up. You do something different. If you've been doing bad and you've been accepting all your fleet managers' loads, well, start denying a bunch of loads. If you're not doing well and you've been denying a bunch of your fleet managers' loads, start accepting a bunch of loads. If you've been running at nights, run at days. I mean, anything to just change things up, I'm a firm believer of. When I was in my previous profession, if things were going bad, I would do, if I was working 60 hours a week, then I'd start working 10 hours a week. If I was getting to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'd start getting to work at 4:30 in the morning. If I was making 50 phone calls a day, then I'd stop making phone calls and I'd go meet people in person. If I was meeting people in person, things weren't going bad. Whatever I was doing, I was just starting to change everything. And I'm a firm believer of just that in life in general. So anyway, I'm not sure if this video has been valuable. Seems like I've been rambling more than I've been actually putting out anything that would be valuable, but I do appreciate you guys stopping by. No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I do appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.